Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Fiction in Real Life, where we talk about if real life is stranger than fiction. I'm Julie Daines, and I'm here with Jennifer Moore and Heather Moore for today's episode. Also, as usual, we are having a giveaway, and the giveaway this time is Jennifer Moore's book, Educating Elizabeth, which is adorable. So be sure and enter to win that by commenting here or on YouTube. And also be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube because that really helps us a lot if you can do that, and you'll be notified every time we have a new episode that comes out. So today we have a nice lineup of some interesting animal stories to tell. So we will start with Jennifer's story.
Okay. So my story is just a short one about a famous primate named Coco the gorilla. And I'm sure a lot of you have followed this gorilla. I don't remember how many thousands of signs in sign language, thousands of words. They documented that this gorilla had learned how to really communicate with the keepers or the primate workers. I'm not sure what you call the people that worked with her. But anyway, Coco really loved cats. And she asked her keepers for a kitten, and they gave her this little kitten. And this little story that I was going to tell is this funny story that one time Coco kind of had a moment, and she went a little crazy and ripped a sink out of her enclosure, just out of the wall. Mm. And she knew she was going to get in trouble because she, isn't supposed to do stuff like that. But anyway, when the keepers came back and they were, signing there like, Coco, who did this? And she said, the cat did it. And I thought that was such a cute story because not only was she, signing, but she also had to think it through like, hey, no one ever gets mad at this kitten. I can I can get out of this. And she figured out how to lie. So anyway, I thought that was a cute, funny little story about Coco.
That is funny. Would you book it?
Yeah, sure. If I ever happen to have a story about a
gorilla story,
or an animal that communicated, I think it would be funny to have the animal kind of try to get out of trouble like that.
That is so funny. What about you, Heather?
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. Obviously, she learned it somewhere, so maybe one of her caretakers is guilty for teaching.
Get
out of something. A fib.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to include in a story.
I think so too. And I think it's kind of funny that she could work out in her mind to blame the kitten, but she couldn't work out in her mind that there's no possible way the kitten could have done it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of funny the limitations that they have there. But I've seen a video of like a dog blaming another dog for the mess that the first dog made. So I don't know, maybe. But anyway, okay, I have a little story about a dolphin named Kelly the dolphin, and she's from an aquarium in Mississippi. And the trainers finally thought, well, why don't we, instead of us having to clean out the garbage and whatever that gets into her enclosure, we'll have the dolphin do it. So they taught her to pick up all the garbage and stuff that was in her enclosure. Well, it didn't take long for Kelly to figure out that it didn't matter how big the piece of trash was that she brought to the keepers, they would still give her a fish. So she started tearing the garbage and debris that she found into smaller pieces. And then she would just bring a piece of it and still get a fish. Well, then one day, a bird fell into her water and drowned. And Kelly brought the bird over to the keepers. And they were like, oh, good dolphin, good dolphin. And they gave her a huge fish. No, they gave her several fish for the bird. And so then she figured out, well, trash is one fish, but a bird is lots of fish. So then they would give her the fish and she would hide it like under a rock or something. And then after the keepers were gone, she took this fish and used it to lure like gulls and stuff to the edge of the water. So then she would grab the bird and take it back to the keepers and then get all this fish. And then not only did it end there, But then she taught the other dolphins in her enclosure to do the same thing. So
That is amazing.
That's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I heard somewhere, I do not know how accurate this is, that dolphins have an IQ of 85, which I truly think is smarter than a lot of people, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, that is not a fact-checked fact, so do not quote me on that. I just heard that.
I mean, I don't know how to catch a bird, so they.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Again, we get into this area of ethics, right? The animals don't have the ethics because they don't see that it's actually wrong to kill the bird to get more fish for them, but they understand the ethics of getting what they want in the immediate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of interesting. But anyway, would I book it? I think I might. I think it would be fun to have it just kind of as a side story, honestly, in a fun little like rom-com or something. Maybe if one of the characters is one of the keepers at kind of a dolphin type enclosure like that, it would be kind of interesting to parallel what's happening in the story with the stuff that Kelly is learning along the way. So I think I would book it. Heather, how about you?
I think I wouldn't book it, and not because I do think it would be fun, like you said, kind of as a side story, but I also feel like it's so out of my wheelhouse. Any mammal, any sea life. I did have a short story once set in Hawaii but I had lived there before, but the only thing they did was do snorkeling. But I don't know. I just feel like it probably just wouldn't be something that would pop in my head to like do. So I probably wouldn't book it.
Jennifer, how about you?
I think I would have to change it a little. I don't know, to make it fit into a story that I would write. But I love the idea of it kind of getting away from the zookeepers. Like when they came up with a plan, do we call them zookeepers? I don't know what we call the SeaWorld people, but they came up with this plan to like get out of doing extra work. And then it just kind of snowballed. And all of a sudden they've got the dolphins are hunting birds and killing birds. You know what I mean? It almost sounds like a kid's book, except we wouldn't want them killing birds, but you know what I mean? Where like what they do kind of grows into a bigger thing because the animals figure out a way around it. And
like they think they're being clever, but in the end it kind of backfires.
The smart one. Yeah. It's fun to think about, maybe. Yeah. I don't know, something like that.
That's a good idea. All right. Okay. Our final story is from Heather.
So this is just a quick story. This is our cat Versace. And it was really funny because so our house is kind of set up where we have the kitchen is kind of in the middle of the house, and then you can walk all the way around it because there's like, you walk around the counter, you walk through the kitchen, and you can walk around the wall. So sometimes my daughter likes to chase our dog, and the dog loves to be chased. So they just run around and around this kind of route. But when our cat, Versace is a boy, when he got fixed, we got, because we're compassionate, so we got the little pain medication that you give him a couple times a day. So the first time I gave it to him, I could tell he didn't like it, but whatever, he took it, and I was feeling proud of myself that, he wasn't in pain. And then the next time I took it, I remember I was at the counter on the inside of the kitchen, and he was just kind of walking around, and I got out the thing, I put it on the counter, I was like opening the stopper because I'm like, I'm going to get a little Kleenex and kind of walk over and just grab him and put it in. And he looked up at me and he saw that, and he started running, and he was running around, but I blocked him, and then he turned around the other way. So we're like chasing, and I don't know why he didn't go down the stairs or anything, but I was chasing around this counter. And I just thought it was funny because he had just had it once, but the second time, as soon as he saw that bottle, he knew what it was. He knew what it tasted like, and he didn't want it.
That's cute.
That is so funny.
Anyway, so funny. If you say I book it, I may not book that exact. I don't know, maybe that exact story, but I have actually some of my last few books, like not every single one, but I've started to add in pets, because I realize when I read a story and it has like a dog in it, or like a funny sassy cat, like it just kind of gives me more of a connection because I also have pets. So I think I would definitely book a cat story.
Nice. Jennifer, how about you?
Yeah, definitely. And I love that Versace just saw it and was like, oh no, I remember that thing. That animals are just smart.
So smart.
Yeah.
I think I would book it too. I do think animals are a lot smarter than we give them credit for. I just feel like even with my own dogs and our little parrotlet that we had, they just catch on and they're just so smart. And I do love including animals in my stories. A lot of my stories include like a pet or something like that. So, okay. Well, great. That has been our episode for today. Again, if you have any stories of your own regarding really any kind of subject that just seems a little bit far-fetched or way out there or strange coincidence or something, be sure and send them in to us at fictionirlauthors@gmail.com. And again, don't forget to comment to enter to win Educating Elizabeth by Jennifer Moore. And thank you so much for joining us this time on Fiction in
Real
life.